So, this is the second time I'm coming to your college. I never went twice to my own college. Okay. But that was a joke. But it was not really also a joke because I joined college after school when I was 16 years old. And within less than a month of me joining college, I lost my dad tragically in a car accident. And that's a huge turning point in anybody's life, especially when you're only 16 years old and your mother is a simple homemaker and she has no, she herself was in the car when the accident took place, so she was grievously injured, herself hovering between, life and death. And so within a few months, I had to start working because somebody had to support financially the house. So when I said I have been to college, obviously more than 2 times, but I didn't get to spend years in college like, you guys are already maybe done your graduation and post-graduation and, and some of you may even go and do a master's or do a PhD or a doctorate in some subject. But the college of life teaches you so many things which unfortunately these 4 walls don't teach you. Okay, the college of life, in fact, I wish there were some subjects that they taught in not only in college but even in school. Very simple things, basic things like common sense and logic. Okay, basic things like financial planning. Okay, understanding how to make money, how to handle money, and negotiation, the power of speaking, the power of communication, the power of making somebody believe in you, somebody follow you for what you are talking or what you're saying. And also things like relationships, how to build relationships, how to first find the right people that you want to build relationships with. It's very important to have good people around you. If you have good people around you, a lot of life's problems get resolved. Okay. When I mean good people, I mean friends, family. Obviously, you can't choose. You're born in your family. Okay, you can't choose them, but you can choose friends. You can choose your life partner. You can choose people you would like to associate with at work, after work, in your social life. So in a nutshell, I wish they taught all this also, and not just mathematics, commerce, economics, physics, chemistry, or other humanities, sciences. I think the closest that comes to these kind of subjects, in a way, could be humanities, because they have a human element in their programs, in what they teach. While a lot of other subjects are very clinical. For example, if you are a medical student or you are an accountant, as a student, those subjects are like very, very straightforward, very, very clinical. There is not too much of, the right word would be the human part in that subject. So let me give you a little brief about myself. My name is Adil Nargolwala. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. I'm 55. I'm going to be 55 years old very soon. Okay, so I'm on the other side of the hill. You guys are starting your journey. I have reached, maybe the top and, just about trying to now find my way outside corporate and see what next I need to do. I've been with WNS now for over 20 years. I came to WNS through an acquisition. Like I said earlier, when I was 17, I started working, and very, very soon in life, I realized I didn't want to work for someone. I wanted to do something on my own. And that's how I started. A friend of mine and me, we got together and we started a small company. We kept that company for 10 years. We remained partners basically for 10 years. And we grew that small business to a decently sized business. In those days, it wasn't as easy as today. There was no such thing as venture capital funding. There was no such thing as, you can say startups. I mean, everything is a startup. Even a small chaiwala who sets up a little stall outside your college is also a startup. He's starting in life. So startup basically means starting in life, in any kind of work you're doing. And so in those days, I remember Hong Kong Bank became our customer. And we used to supply to them roughly about 2 lakhs rupees worth of, goods every month. Okay. And I'm telling you this story, why? Because I remember we needed money to grow. Any business needs money to grow. Any new businessman, his biggest problem is cash flow. To maintain every month there are expenses. You have to maintain enough cash in the business to pay salaries. You have to maintain enough cash in the business to meet all expenses. If you have rented office, your electricity bill, transport, and then your suppliers. Your biggest thing is your suppliers. Suppliers will continue to supply only when you pay them. If you don't pay them, they won't supply you. It's as simple as that. Because they also need to pay somebody to get those supplies to pay you. So we went to Hong Kong Bank and we asked them for a small loan. We said, can we get some 10-20 lakhs? And they said, what collateral? Firstly, the thing was, they said, we are Hong Kong Bank. If you need, we don't talk to anybody who has requirement less than 2 crores. Okay, because they're a huge bank, multinational. For them, 20 lakhs is like change. And then that guy, so I said, we don't have collateral, but we have business with you. All the time we have about 2 lakhs of rupees worth of bills with you. Basis that you can advance us maybe 5 times that money. We're not. But we didn't get that money. We were refused that money. So that's another. You have to learn this in life as you go forward. How to get money to make money, because you require money to make. Either you have a brilliant idea, you have something which is massively, unique, massively brilliant, and somebody will bet on it directly. Otherwise, you have to negotiate. You have to convince people. You have to convince people to invest in your idea, invest in your business. And unfortunately, if you've seen a lot of people investments are also getting tougher now. And Devayan will agree with me on this. Okay. The golden era of investments, I'm not saying it's over. It will continue because people will continue to invest. But the way people were investing earlier, blindly, any idea, 2 young kids got out of college, had some idea, they would walk up to, some investment bank or an investment firm or some kind of seed capital firm, and they would get the money. Nowadays, those guys have also got very wise, especially when you see things like Paytm and all, which have, crashed, and things like that. So what I'm trying to say here is that whatever idea you guys will have, if you want to do, if you look for investments and all, learn how to go about that. So coming back to my story, then from that business, I set up an IT company, ran that for about 5-7 years, and there were some friends of mine who in the US wanted to set up another company in India, and they approached me and we got together and we set up another company. That company got acquired by WNS. So I came into WNS quite late in life. I was about 35 years old. By the time I got into corporate. Before that, I was a businessman. I had my own company and I was running it along. For 10 years I ran it with a friend, then we separated. The balance, many years I ran it myself. And then when I came into WNS, it was like coming into a very different environment, because a large corporate functions very differently. Small companies or startups, everything happens on the go. Okay, large companies have policies, rules, processes, procedures, hierarchy. There's a system that has to be followed. You just can't do whatever you feel like doing because somebody or the other is watching out on what you're doing. While in a small company, you're everything. If you're the owner of the company, you're the chief cook and bottle washer in a restaurant kind of thing. Everything you have to do and you have to manage. So that was a big shift for me. So in case you guys are looking to do business, or you're looking to work in a corporate, I'm telling you this is because I'm trying to give you the picture on both sides. When I got into a large company, for some time I felt as if I was being, held back. If I wanted to do something, I could. I'll give you a simple. I can remember one example. When we came to WNS, we used to have our company where we used to provide transport to our employees, and we used to put air conditioning, air-conditioned cabs. And WNS used to give non-AC cabs. Okay, that's a big shift, no? For somebody who's used to coming in an air-conditioned car to work, and suddenly now you're told you have to come in a non-air-conditioned car to work. You say, this is not where I thought I'm going to be. Okay, and so in some cases we managed to convince WNS and did what we did in those days. I'm talking of something which happened like 18 years ago. Okay, in some cases we, so again I said this is part of negotiation, part of communication, how you can, put your point of view across to somebody and make that someone agree to, your point of view and follow you. See, in an argument, there should always be, both parties should walk away thinking that they got a good deal. Okay. That's very important. If anybody thinks that he didn't get a good deal in a discussion, in a meeting, the person will feel shortchanged, he'll feel cheated, he'll feel as if he lost. So the trick is always, remember, the trick is to make the other guy feel, even if you get him to agree what you want him to do or her to do, make sure that it comes as if it was his plan, his idea. You have to plant it in his mind in that way. You have to say, for example, you can make a statement like, I believe something like this, but what is your view on this? And then you mold the person towards that view, and that's how you negotiate and you communicate and you get your way through. I've always tried that. Very, very rarely does dictatorship work. Even in corporate, sometimes, you will see managers, you would have read books about very successful business leaders. They write their success stories and you read about them, that they were very tough. They took very strong decisions. They made, organizations go the direction they wanted to. That's nice in a book after it's happened. It wouldn't have ever happened in that manner. I mean, today also, if we have, say, about 30 of us in this room here, would you all agree to do whatever I say? I don't think so. Unless you find it logical, unless you find it reasonable, unless you find it something which will give you a direction and say, okay, yeah, I guess this is what you guys are saying is, let's try it out because there's something will get us somewhere. Okay. So the only place where orders are followed without thinking is only in the army. Okay, they are not paid to think. If the commanding officer is given an order, you just follow it blindly. Because if you start thinking, you'll get shot, you'll be dead. Okay, you have no chance to, even question the order or anything. How do you think we won Kargil? Everybody knew when they stood below the mountain that many of them are not going to come back alive. Because there are people sitting on top who are going to shoot at you. And you have to climb up the mountain. It's so difficult. You try climbing 4 steps coming up, these 4 floors coming up in your own building, and you lose breath. Okay, imagine trying to climb the height of Kargil, which is some 20,000 feet. This is not even 20 feet. Okay. In that rare atmosphere, you know that there are people sitting on top with machine guns and other bigger weapons shooting down at you. It's so easy for them to shoot down at you while you're trying to climb up somehow and shoot at them. So everybody knew that for every 10 people that will go up, maybe 7, 8 won't come back. But they blindly went up. So that's what the army is all about. That's what they teach you. Blindly follow orders. The aim was only one thing. At whatever cost, recover the land. Corporate doesn't work that way. Nobody's going to send you up in a mountain with people shooting down at you. Okay. But corporate can be tough. Corporate also is not an easy place to be. Okay. The world is getting very, very competitive. And nowadays, with new technologies coming in, new things coming in, my suggestion and my advice to all of you is stay ahead of the curve. Keep learning what is happening in your field. Okay, keep learning what is new in your field. That's the only way to stay ahead. Okay, if you don't adapt to new things, to new technologies. Okay, so how many of you guys are? Just let me understand what all are you guys studying here? What have you come here to study? Let's start with you only.
So
you can sit and talk.
So I plan on joining my family business after I finish my graduate,
Which is
warehousing.
Logistics.
Yes.
But what do you come here to study? That was my question. I didn't ask you what you're going to do after studies.
Supply chain management and negotiation and how to deal with suppliers and.
Okay. So procurement, negotiation, supply chain management. That's what you want. What do you want to do? What are you coming here to study?
So MBA, sales in specific.
Sales. Okay.
Marketing.
Marketing.
Marketing. Finance.
Finance.
Marketing. Finance. So business analytics. Business analytics. Finance. Marketing.
Finance.
Okay. So most of you are marketing and finance. That's what I can understand. Anything unique in this room other than what people have just said? So mostly it is going to be marketing and finance. Okay. You said you're going to join your business. Anybody else going to go back and work in his, in his family business, or everybody else is going to do something of their own? You're the only guy who wants to do that, which is fine. There's no harm in that. If you have a platform at home, there's nothing better than to go back and grow that platform, grow that business, and achieve goals for your family. So okay, so let's talk a bit. So tell me, when you say finance, now finance also is a huge field. Okay, so what in finance would you like to do? Like, would you go and join a chartered accountant's firm and do people's accounts and books and all that? Would you want to join a corporate finance, or would you want to take further degrees where you have certain certifications that you can take, which allow you? So a lot of work that is done in companies like mine, WNS, where we do work for foreign companies. So let me give you a background. What all of you know? What is a BPM company? No, you don't know. So BPM is a small short of business process management. Okay. We manage people's business. Simple as that. Okay. So what was your name?
Rohan.
Rohan. So Rohan, let's assume Rohan is a logistics company. Let's assume Rohan owns FedEx. He's a logistics guy. One day he wants to own something as big as FedEx. Okay. So let's assume he owns FedEx. Now, as a senior guy at FedEx, he wants to outsource a certain part of his business which he believes is not core to his business. Okay. Why will he outsource? Can anybody answer? Come on, guys, it's proactive session. Right?
So it's a bit cheaper.
Okay, cost is one thing. What else can it be?
So that we can focus upon his core of business operating.
Correct, that's another one. What else can it be?
So he doesn't want to deal with hiring new people for the.
Okay, that's okay, maybe. Okay, what else? You guys are missing one very basic thing. Okay. To ensure that his customers are happy. See, unless you have happy customers, you can't have a business. Okay. This college can't run if students are not happy here. If tomorrow there's a problem in this college and all of you get dissatisfied with what's happening here, either you will quit, go join some other college, or and new students won't come in because you'll spread the word around that this is a bad place to be. Okay, so the main thing that any business needs is good, happy customers. Okay, so when you outsource, the first thing that a client will look at is that whoever I'm outsourcing this business to, will they be able to manage my customers? Will my customers be happy? Will this customer score go up, not come down? Okay, because customers will evaluate you on the work you're doing for them. Okay, so let's go back to Rohan and his business. Now, in a shipping and logistics company like FedEx, what does FedEx do? You guys know that? What?
Transport.
Sorry?
Transport, transit.
Okay, that's a very vague, huge term. Okay, so FedEx flies planes, for example. FedEx is one of the largest owners of an airline. It has more planes than most airlines do. Are you aware of that? Okay. Do you know that FedEx has they own the largest amount of containers in the world? You know what a container is, no? That huge metal box you're seeing when a truck on the highway. Okay. So now FedEx transports material for different businesses across the world. Okay, they can send it by sea, they can send it by land, they can send it by air. Okay. So they own airplanes, they own, they have ships, and they send by trucks. You're seeing FedEx trucks on the road. Now, FedEx will set up, they will have hundreds of, warehouses and pickup points and delivery points across the world. Hundreds means thousands of them. Okay. Can you imagine the amount of transactions that a company like FedEx will do? So a lot of you guys said that you will do finance. Okay. There's a lot of finance involved in a large company like this, simply because now, say the client wants to send a packet, okay, to his son in England. It has to reach, he needs to ensure it reaches in 2 days. So he goes to some FedEx guy, either comes to his house or he goes to a FedEx office and he drops that packet there. He pays the money, drops the packet. Now that packet has to be delivered to his kid in UK. How will it get delivered? Can somebody make a flow chart for me to take me all the way this packet from Gurgaon to, say, London? Simple. Use your mind. It's not that difficult. Come, you tell me, how do you think it will go? It's very simple. Okay. We'll go one by one. Okay. Imagine you are the Gurgaon person that you have given that packet. Okay. What will you do now once you receive the packet? Obviously, you won't run to the airport, catch a flight, and go to London. No, you won't do that. What will you do?
Send this packet to
Make
another.
louder, please.
Send this packet to another transporter.
Which transport? You are the transporter. So basically, the company will have a process. First, you will cut what is called an airway bill, okay, and hand it over to the bank, saying that this is your receipt, your airway. He'll have a call. Okay, all this is now done online. Gone are the days when somebody sat on a counter, took out a pen and wrote on a book or a pad or something and tore out a page and gave it. So it will be online. You will get this. The transaction will happen. Then you will collect all this and it will go to a sorting office. Okay. So like him, there will be 100 other people with different kinds of packets going to different parts of the country and the world. So they will have to go to some sorting office where all the packets of London will get put together, and then somebody will take that packet, which is now got say 20 such packets which have to go to London, and take them to the airport, where they will get loaded onto some flight or in a FedEx airplane. So FedEx also uses cargo of other airlines, okay, as well as they will put on the FedEx airplane. Because remember, the pan has one condition: it has to reach in 2 days. So if they don't have their own flight going, they'll put it on some other flight. Similarly, that flight will land wherever it lands. And this parcel has to go through security, it has to go through customs, it has to go through all this. Okay, then it will land. When it lands there, somebody will pick that up and take it to some sorting office. Okay, and then from there, somebody will pick that up and take it to some point where his son is staying and deliver it. So now there are some 4 or 5 people involved in this whole process. Now somebody has to track this. Okay, so a company like WNS will track this. A company like WNS, now for example, this whole deal was that in 2 days this packet has to reach his son. It hasn't reached. His son will call his dad and say, "Dad, what you sent hasn't yet come." Now Dipayan has one airway tracking tool. He will go online to see where it is. If he's not satisfied, there'll be some call center number that he will call. Okay, somebody will pick up the phone, he'll give them a number and say, "This packet was supposed to reach, it hasn't reached, where is it?" Somebody has to answer that call. Okay, and track that packet for the buyer and tell him, "Okay, I'm sorry, sir, we're very apologetic. It was supposed to reach, but don't worry, it's on its way. The next 2 hours it will reach. The last mile is being delivered right now." Okay, so that's what a company like WNS does. Now, a lot of you guys said that you are doing finance. Okay, a company like FedEx has a turnover which runs into thousands of crores or many millions of dollars, some few $1 billion in fact. Okay, the amount of bills that get so many customers like the pan, every customer has an invoice, every customer has made a payment. Okay, now we discussed that there are these 5-6 people who are going to carry this. FedEx would also have further outsourced these pieces. Now, for example, Rohan's warehouse. Say Rohan has a warehouse near the airport. Okay, so all the packets that are picked up and before they go to a flight from here to London are first stocked at Rohan's warehouse. For every packet that reaches Rohan's warehouse, Rohan is going to charge FedEx a certain sum of money. That's his business. No, he's providing space to store things. Okay. Maybe Rohan further forwards that to the plane. So he's going to charge for that service that he'll provide for picking up the packet, storing it in his warehouse, and then further taking it, to the plane. Okay. So now Rohan is going to raise a bill. That bill needs to be paid. And there are hundreds of Rohans for FedEx in the world. Somebody has to validate that bill before payment has been made. A company like WNS does that job for FedEx. So what we do, and we have over 500 such customers that we work for, where we do different things. So we are, WNS as a company is into different verticals. You understand verticals? Okay, different lines of business. Shipping logistics is one of them. Okay, FedEx is also our customer type. Okay, then you have healthcare and life sciences as a vertical, where we are, our customers are hospital chains in America. Insurance is a vertical for us. We have insurance companies worldwide. Okay, finance is a horizontal vertical for us, where we do a lot of processing of financial documents for many companies worldwide. Okay, travel is a vertical for us, where other than fly a plane, we literally run airlines. One of our biggest customers is British Airways. We do so much work for British Airways, it's not even, like we roster their pilots. Okay, which pilot will take which flight. Okay, we make their schedules. Okay, we give tickets to passengers. Okay, we change flights for passengers. So today, for example, as a passenger, if you book a flight from Delhi to London, and then you have booked it, say, for the 10th of the month, and suddenly some change happens, and now you want to make a different ticket. You want to change it from, say, 10th to the 15th. Somebody has to make that change for you. Okay. Somebody at WNS will make that change. So as a company, as a BPM company, this is what we do. We provide services to our customers for their end customers. So we literally we have a tagline which says WNS extending your enterprise. Okay, so we extend their enterprise at our premises to ensure that, and when you walk into a WNS office, when you walk into a particular floor, you will think that you walked into that client's floor because the whole floor is branded in that way. So let's go back to the example of FedEx. So if it's a FedEx floor, imagine this floor and there are some 500 people sitting in this room and working for FedEx. This whole floor will look like a FedEx office. So you will feel as if you're part of FedEx. So we create environment or a place to work which is very much synonymous with the customer we work for. So as a company, we hire over 20,000 people in India every year and about 30,000 people globally. Okay. And we have hiring teams and hiring centers wherever we are. So we hire local talent wherever possible. And we hire, starting at very junior levels all the way up to senior management. Okay. And a BPM company is a great place as so college will teach you to a certain point when you graduate from here. Okay. A good company will have their own training setup. Okay. So when you sit for your interviews, for placements, and once you get placed, you will again go back into some kind of learning. You will again go back into a training period of a few weeks or a few months. Okay. Where that company will train you on what the company does. Okay, basis the education and knowledge that you've already gained from college. Post which, then they will test you. Okay, only when you are clear that test, that you will be put as a person who will start, being productive. Okay. Very rarely does a company pick up somebody and puts them directly in front of a customer, without going through this phase. Because each company has its own way of, when we have signed up with our customers, we have signed up certain amount of service level agreements. And we want to be sure that those service level agreements will be met by all of our employees that we've hired. Okay, so therefore we put them through a period of training and all before we put them in. Try to do something that you want to do in a company which is mainline in that company. Okay, so when you guys said finance, if you want to be finance guys, if you are finance for a large corporate, you'll be at the back end. Okay, you'll be supporting the main business in some way. Okay, so if you guys are going to go in finance, my recommendation would be go and join some big consulting financial company, okay, or some big audit company, or some big company that is in the field of finance. Okay, that would be my first target. If I don't get a job in any of those companies, then obviously my second line would be to go to a company which will groom me in some way for a job in one of those companies at a later stage in life. Okay. Sales guys, marketing guys are always going to be in demand. Also, simply because the guy who sells is the guy who's getting in money in the company. Okay, everybody else is spending that money. So an operations guy is running operations, okay, but they're spending money to build something. The sales guy is the guy who's gone and sold it to a customer. So sales guys are always going to be the big buck earners in companies. Okay, they get huge bonuses if they meet numbers. They have targets which they have to obviously meet. Okay, sales will also show you the world because you have to go out on the road and sell. Okay, unless you have a well-established to you, it's different. But otherwise, you have to go and sell. Okay, and FMCG companies are a great place to learn sales. Okay, if you're lucky and get into one of the big, FMCG brands like say Levers, Colgate, there's so many Godrej, there's so many of these big companies which are into sales. The amount of, and they will post you to some gaon somewhere, some local place, but that's where you will pick up your maximum, understanding of how people behave, what markets are like. Depends on what you want to sell that also. I mean, you have to first understand what kind of line you want to go in for sales. Okay. What's the difference between marketing and sales? Can somebody tell me that? Come on, yeah, half of you guys said you want to do marketing.
Marketing is basically building a product, and sales is selling that product.
Okay, yes. To a large extent, yes. So marketing basically is building a brand. Okay, you're building a reputation. You're building a name. Okay, so when you see all these huge advertisement boards, on the highway or at the airport or anywhere else where you see them, or you see these huge ads in the newspaper, okay, you're building a brand. Okay, me coming here and talking to you in a way is marketing for my company. Okay, if I am calling me here to talk to you, is it a way marketing for NorthCap? Okay, so this is marketing. Okay, sales is, like you rightly said, is when you're directly targeting people and selling. So if you like, let's go back to the FMCG example. Okay, so somebody is marketing and creating this huge brand, say for shampoo, Head and Shoulders. Okay, so you see some beautiful ad in the TV or some IPL match or somewhere where this shampoo will be like shown, with the glamorous people having a shower and stuff like that, and that's how they build the brand. Okay, and they'll talk about you use this shampoo and your hair will be longer and more silkier or whatever. Correct. But then who's the sales guy? The sales guy is the guy who sits in the distributor's van and goes to the market to the shopkeeper and says, "ठीक है भाई, मेरी 10 बोतलें लगाया शहद की. ठीक है, please buy. Last month you bought only 5 boxes of shampoo. I want to sell you 6 boxes this month. Okay, and I want you to push them right in front of the store, so that when the customer walks in, my shampoo is visible right there and it gets sold." Okay, so that's the difference. In a very simple way, I can tell you, between a guy who will sell versus a guy who will brand and market. So both of them are very lucrative, and advertising, marketing is a field which will always be there. Now, another thing which we can talk about is how many of you guys believe that automation will take over jobs and you'll have a problem? You believe, okay? Only one person in this room believes that. 2, 3, 4. So 4 people out of roughly 30-40 people believe that jobs may be difficult in future with. So, okay, I am of a generation which is like your parents' generation. So I have seen some things which don't exist today anymore. Okay. We can take a simple example. When I was very young, and once we had to travel, suddenly, urgently, something had happened and we had to travel, for which we had to go buy a ticket. In those days, you could not buy an airline ticket. Indian Airlines was only one airline in India. Okay, the only way you could get that ticket was, there was one center they had at the airport, which was one counter only. There would be always some 30-40 people trying to buy one ticket there. Another place they had was a southern airport. They had one large hall kind of place where you went, you got a token. You took a token and you sat in one chair and you looked at your watch for some 1 hour before your number suddenly came on the screen. Then you went and you had one uncle or auntie sitting on the other side who was government job, doesn't matter, BK na BK kya farak padta hai kind of attitude. Okay, and she would or he would, you would say, okay, I want to travel. Urgent hai. You would say, sorry sir, flight nahi hai, book hai. 3 दिन के बाद कोई फ्लाइट नहीं है, आपको 1 हफ्ते बाद ही टिकट. It was that time when there was only one airline, few planes, only those number of seats. You could not do anything beyond that. No competition like what today is with so many airlines and so many planes. So you had only option was, okay, you would say whatever they would say, you would pay the money, you would take a ticket. You spent more than half a day doing this just to get that one ticket. Today, in less than 5 minutes on your phone, you can buy a ticket. Now, what has happened? What has happened? We're talking about automation, no? We're talking about jobs. Okay. That woman lost her job. That whole center shut down. So everybody who was working in that center lost their jobs. They don't need now one booking center for people to come and buy ticket. Okay. The airline now sells you a ticket directly through their portal, or you go to some Make My Trip or Yatra.com or whatever, and you buy a ticket. Okay, so aggregators.
Ticketing counters still exist at the airports.
At the airport, because वो last minute है, कोई वहाँ खड़ा होकर खरीदना चाहे तो खरीद सकता है ना. पर एयरपोर्ट भी नॉर्मली लोग क्या करते हैं, साइड में खड़े होते हैं, फोन पे ही खरीदते हैं, उसको प्रिंट आउट भी नहीं हो, फोन पे दिखाते हैं, सिक्योरिटी अंदर चले जाते हैं. और आजकल तो डिजी यात्रा भी आ गया है, where you can just walk into the airport by just that camera will just scan your face and will match it with your Aadhaar details, and you'll go through biometrics basically. Now let's go back to our example. So we lost all those jobs, right? Okay, Digi Yatra came in so that one security guard who was standing there checking everybody doesn't need to stand anymore. The computer is smarter. It can check that you are the right person by looking at your retina scan, your facial, your structure, and they'll let you in. Okay. So some jobs have gone, but what has happened? Hundreds of jobs got created, more, because so many more airlines came, so many more planes came, so many more air hostess, so many more pilots, so many more ground staff, so many more engineering staff. The whole industry just took off. So in those days, if there were some, let's for a number say 100 people running in an airline, today there must be some 1 lakh people running in an airline. So automation, in my mind, will make things faster, smoother, better. Okay, but a human being will always be required. It won't be that jobs will totally dry up and they'll go away. The only trick is you got to be ahead of the curve. You must understand which are the jobs which will get cannibalized, which will go away. Okay, and which are the jobs that will be relevant and will keep you relevant. So it's very important as you work your way through life to keep upskilling. I'll give you in my field also. My job is to recruit people. Okay, Dina, my colleague sitting here, she hires. She has a team of maybe about 20-30 people under her, and she hires many people herself. Okay, in the olden days, the only way a person would get a job is he would walk into an office with a written paper CV in his hand. Okay, and he would come and sit, and somebody would sit in front of him, and he would sit, and they would read the whole CV together. And then he would be questioned, and there would be an interview, and etc. etc. Now, with the kind of volume hiring that we do, it's not possible to talk to everybody. Because out of every 10 people that we see, only one person we hire. And sometimes in some niche skills, some 30-40 people we see, we hire one person. Okay. So now we have tools which have AI inbuilt. Okay. So you will send your resume online. Okay. The AI engine will kick in that software, in that application, in that tool, and will be able to see and match that resume that you have sent with the job description that is mentioned that is required in the company. If it finds, then it will tell you. So, for example, if 100 CVs come in for a particular job, the engine will tell you how many are relevant to 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. So the first thing the recruiter will do is he will try to look at all those CVs that are 100% matching the job description, the JD. Okay. If he doesn't find anybody in that bucket of 100, then he will look at the bucket of 90, then he will look at the bucket of 80. He won't go below 70 at least. Anything below 70, he will just shift delete. So it will just, get deleted out of the system. Okay. So the jobs that were there earlier, I mean, for a team to hire so many people, you would have had to have many more recruiters. Now you don't have so many recruiters. You have the engine which does this job for you. Okay, and the recruiter just picks up the last 20-30% of CVs that have come in and does the work for you. Okay, so now as a recruiter, if you are relevant, you have to skill yourself to the point where you understand how this engine works. Okay, and you understand and you have the skills to pick up the cream from those last 10-20-30% of CVs that are left and be able to hire the right candidate for the company. So as a recruiter, you have to keep upgrading yourself. You have to keep understanding. And as a recruitment manager, I have to keep looking at what are the new technologies that are coming in the market. Because I'm using this particular AI engine right now. maybe 1 or 2 years down the line, this AI engine will have better things that would have come in from other competition. Okay, they would come up with smarter tools, better tools. Okay, where even the last 10-20% of CVs that we finally will choose to hire the person are also done automatically in some way. Because at the end of the day, all your finance guys sitting here are looking at people like me and questioning me every quarter, every year in reviews. How are you going to bring your cost down next year for recruitment? Okay, this year you spent $2 million recruiting 10,000 people. Next year we'll only budget 1.8 million. You have to now and hire 25,000 people, 1.8 million. That means what? That means now I've got 200K less to spend. I have to hire 25,000 versus 20,000, so I have to hire another 20% more. Okay, or 25% more. Sorry, 12.5% more. And I don't have the funds to hire. So the only way I can do that is by bringing in more technology, okay, to do the work that was earlier done manually. Because salaries will go up every year. Okay, if I have somebody working in my team this year, I have to give increment, when the year ends, for the person to at least make enough money to beat inflation. If I don't make that payment, if I don't give that increment, I might lose good talent. Because the talent will then go, they'll leave my job and they'll go take another job in some other organization because they want that money. Okay, so as a manager, my job also is to keep balancing, to keep meeting a finance number, to keep meeting a target of hiring that happens in the company, to maintain the quality of the company. And in our company, hiring, in a company like ours, not as our company, in a company like ours, a hiring engine is a very, very important engine. It's supply chain management actually. Okay, because you are processing, it's a large funnel which you put a whole lot of bunch of people in. Okay, and finally that funnel takes out people that you are going to finally hire. Okay, there's attrition in the organization. So there's it's like a train. Once it picks up a certain amount of speed, it keeps running on the track. So our recruitment engine is like a train. It keeps running on the track all the time. On one side, we keep filling in people. On one side, the engine, as the people run through the funnel, they keep getting funneled out, and finally we hire the people that we need to hire. There's a certain amount of attrition, there's a certain amount of growth which we have to plan for every year. So it's a constant exercise, and because we're a people company, see, we're not a manufacturing company, we're not a trading company. Okay, we're a people's company. The only thing we do is we hire the right people to ensure those people do the work for the work that is required by our customers. We don't have any factories. Okay, all our offices are like this hall, a nice air-conditioned, plush place, table, chair, computer, and the person. The person is sitting on the computer and doing the task. Okay, and a computer means desktop or a laptop. Okay, so it's the people that matter in our organization, and the right people will either make the company or break the company. So therefore, recruitment function in our kind of business is a very important function. It's a function which is like the heart of the whole enterprise. And I always tell all my sales guys, "Tum le aao dhanda, hum le aayenge banda." ठीक है ना? It's a very catchy thing which we use in our organization. And so that was a bit from my side. Now let's open up the floor and hear. So how many of you guys are on Twitter? Just one person.
But sir, after it became X for 3 months, I didn't feel like using it.
Why?
I don't know, it's somehow people posting no tweets and all, so I actually stopped using it for months.
Okay, how many people are you on Facebook? There's one person. Only one person on Facebook in this whole group.
Instagram.
You ask them Instagram and Snapchat, everyone will raise hands.
I know.
Everybody got Instagram. So Instagram is about the reels, no? That's why you guys are. It's all about the jokes.
They're just short.
So I am also on all three, but I don't use Instagram and Facebook that much. I hardly go there. I mostly use Twitter. So you guys can follow me there. You'll find things about me there. Okay. Why I like Twitter is because it gives you news. Instagram is about I, me, myself. Okay. While Twitter is about news. You like, for example, when Donald Trump was shot at, Twitter was the first place where you got to read it. Okay, so many things. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, when he says something, first thing he puts it on Twitter, then it comes out, in the news or in any channel or any newspaper or anywhere. So I frequently go to Twitter because is the best source of news for me. Then it gives you opinions. Okay, people. So when somebody will tweet about something, then there'll be somebody will have an opinion about it, and you get a view on both sides. So somebody will will be for it, somebody will be against it. It's like a debate. So when you go through that whole, if you read through everything, you will realize you'll get a balanced kind of. I mean, you can form your own opinion, obviously, but you get sides. You get to hear and see what other people are talking about that particular thing. For example, this very tragic case which took place in Calcutta some few days ago. Okay, so if you go on Twitter and read about it, a lot of things that come out which you get to know, which even you won't get on, say, newspapers. Okay, so that's one. That's my, you can say, my. And all of us need a. So let me tell you a little bit more about keeping a work-life balance in life. Okay? So you guys are very young right now. You should obviously concentrate more on building work than things beyond work. First, build a base for yourself. It's very important, and therefore, but don't lose sight of a hobby or anything else that is passionate for you guys. Okay, so if somebody likes to go, say, for a excursion or a trip, make sure you make that one trip a year at least. Okay, if somebody likes to sing songs, paint or whatever, do that. Cooking is something somebody likes, make sure you do that. Okay, you need some me time. It's very important in today's hectic world with all this push and pull of corporate life. Technically, I'm only 6 kilometers away from your college, but it takes 40 minutes to reach. There's so much of stress on the road reaching here in those 40 minutes. Okay, so you need to do something, to bust that stress, to balance things. So find something good that you guys are interested in and do that. Instagram also can be one of it. If it takes your mind and makes it calm, Instagram, no problem. Okay, look at your health. It's very important. The human body is also a machine. Okay, and like any machine, one day it's going to wear out. You will die. Okay, we all have to die. There's no two ways about that. But I don't fear dying because I know. And the greatest thing about dying is you don't know when you will die. Can you imagine if you knew when you would die? You would die before that. You keep thinking, shit, I will die day after tomorrow. What am I going to do in the next 48 hours? Okay, so it's good that you don't know when you're going to die. Okay, but the fear is not about dying. The fear is about being fit till you die. The last thing you want is to be unfit, to become some kind of vegetable and creating trouble for yourself and everybody around you. So my other advice to you is try to be fit in some way or the other. Very simple thing, don't use the lift. Wherever I go, normally I take the stairs. And just now also I climbed up these 4 floors. I always, wherever I go, I take the stairs. My boss lives on the 55th floor in a building in Bombay. I take the stairs to his house. Okay, I don't go very often to his house, but whenever I go to his house, I take the stairs. Okay, I'm not asking you to climb 55 floors, but what I'm going to say here is try to take the stairs wherever you go. Try to walk as much as you can. Okay, you guys are in class. So when you get out of class, you got a nice playground behind. I saw just now when I parked my vehicle, I saw that there were some kids playing something. So make sure that you pick up some activity like that. I'm sure the college will have some sports teams and stuff like that. Try to be part of that. It's not because you will ever reach the Olympics. I mean, I wish you will. I'm not saying you can't. Okay, but don't do it because of competition. Do it just to stay fit. And as young people, you might not see the reason to be fit right now because you are fit. Your bodies are very fresh. You're just maybe 25 years old. And let's assume you'll all live to 75, 80. So you're only 1/3 of your life. So your bodies are still very fresh. You're still very. It's like a car. If the car's life is 10 years, you are only in the 2nd or 3rd year of the car. Okay, you still got 7, 8 years of the car left. So you may feel that it's not required. You may feel that क्या फर्क पड़ता है जी, हम तो fit हैं, बिल्कुल strong हैं, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. But as you move in life, as you grow a little older, your body will start creaking and groaning places. If you would have built the right base now, that old age will be much better. Okay, if you don't build the base now, it will be tougher. Suddenly, one day you'll realize, oh shit, now I have type 2 diabetes. Oh shit, I've got blood pressure. Okay, or I have some pain in my joint or something or the other. So my request is and my suggestion is, please play some sport throughout your youth also. Don't wait for old age to hit you faster than it should hit. Okay, I run. I like running. I like triathlon. Okay, so I swim, I bike, I run. Okay, you guys can choose whatever you want. Running is the easiest thing to do. All you need is a pair of shoes. You can just get out anywhere and run. There's no money to be paid to run unless you take part in an event. Okay. While if you play any other sport, there's money to be paid. So if you play golf, for example, you have to go pay golf fees somewhere. Where the client stays, you have to pay, one salary to go and play golf there. Okay. Or if you want to play cricket, you need to have another 10, 15 people to play with. You need to have, is it time ho gaya? Ganti baja. Okay. So you need to have a bat, you need to have a ball, you need to have a ground, So you need money to do all that. Running is the easiest thing. You need nothing, just a pair of shoes, and you can just go and run. And even if you do a small distance, even if you walk half an hour, 1 hour, or half an hour of run every day, it will keep you fit and healthy throughout your life. Some cardio is very important. The heart is a muscle at the end of the day. The more that muscle you exercise, the better it will stay. Okay. And stay away. If you get into sport, another good thing that sport does is it keeps you away from the bad things in life. You won't smoke. If you're a runner, why will you smoke? You can't run if you smoke. Your lungs won't work out. You won't just run that way. Okay. If you're into sport normally happens in the morning. It doesn't happen in the evening. Okay. So you'll get up early, you go and play in the mornings. Or you may go play tennis, you may go play run or whatever. You do it in the morning. Because that means what? You'll sleep early also. So some balance will be there. So when you start, I begin my life early in the morning. I'm an early morning person. I get up and I go through all this by about 8 o'clock in the morning. So then I'm free to do, to get ready, go to work. And I try to come home early from work also. It's a myth that you have to stay 10, 12 hours in office to finish work. Smart people finish work within time. It's the guys who, if you sit in office till 8 o'clock in the evening, if my people sit in office till 8 o'clock in the evening, I will think they're not smart enough. Work should get over by 5, 6 o'clock. Why do you have to stay till 8 o'clock? So, these are a few things I can just walk away with for you guys. Now I'm open to questions. I know you're not a very interactive audience. Most of you have kept quiet except for 1 or 2 people who spoke. No questions?
I would have a question. I think, I know that you have done this Ironman and all that. You just very briefly talked about staying fit and doing the running and all that thing. You didn't really talk about what you are known.
So that's why I said what Twitter. Okay, I'll give you all. How many of you have Twitter on your phone? Only one person had Twitter. At least download the app. It takes 5 minutes. All of your smartphones, I guess. Nobody still uses Nokia Torch. वो ट्रक वाला फोन याद है वो ऐड आता था टॉर्च so download Twitter and follow me there. It's a good place to be. Okay, I'll just spend another 5 minutes telling you about these things I've done. So I'm into endurance sport. Okay, endurance sport means single person sport over a long period of time. So in Ultraman, I've done an Ultraman. Ultraman is 10 kilometer swim, 424 kilometer cycle, 84 kilometer run. You get 36 hours to do it in. Okay, I did it in 32 hours. So you have to start swimming 10 kilometers. The minute you finish your 10 kilometers, you get out of the water, get onto a cycle, go cycle 424 kilometers. And then the minute you finish your cycle, you get off and you start running. You run 84 kilometers. And you finish. It's very simple. Okay, it takes 32 hours for you to do it. Okay. Ironman is a slightly lesser version of this triathlon, where you swim for 4 kilometers, you cycle for 180 kilometers, and you run for 42 kilometers. Okay, and you get 17 hours to do this. Okay, I did it in 14 hours. And so that's triathlon basically. I'm the only guy in India to have done the Ironman, the Ultraman, World 6 Majors, okay, and 7 continents, 7 marathons. So marathon is a race which is a distance of 42 kilometer run. Okay. 7 continents, 7 marathons means a marathon in every continent, including Antarctica. Okay, so I ran in Antarctica in 2019. Okay. And 6 world majors is the main 6 marathons in the world. Okay. The only one in Asia is in Tokyo. The others are London, Berlin in Europe, and Chicago, New York, and Boston in America. So I've done these 6 world major runs. So I'm the only guy in this country to have done all this. So that's what the panel was actually referring to.
I think a small clap for
Yeah, yeah.
That's not right. So I just do it because I'm passionate about it. Okay. It makes me feel good, and I try to do some activity other. So whenever I'm traveling, so my job involves at least every week I'm going somewhere or the other on a flight. Like yesterday I came from Bombay. Last week I was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, I couldn't be. I had been Pune. Okay, so my work takes me across different places. But whenever I travel also, I make it a point to finish off my activity. So even if I would take like when I come from Pune, the flight is at 7 in the morning. So I'll get up at 4 in the morning, run for half an hour, 1 hour in the gym in the hotel. And then from there I will get ready and go to the airport, catch the flight. So that, the exercise out of it. And the best thing about catching a flight is you can sleep on it. Okay, so if you were to wake up at 4, and normally say if you're woken up at say 5:36, that means you lost about an hour and a half of sleep. You wake an hour and a half of sleep by sleeping in the plane. So it's very important, at least at my age, with the amount of effort I put in, it's very important for me to get 7-8 hours of sleep every day. As young people, you may not think it is important to sleep that much. Okay, but let me tell you why sleep is important. So sleep is the only time when your body is recovering. Otherwise, when you're not sleeping, you're using your body. Okay, you're abusing it also. Okay, sleep is the only time, and sleep is the best medicine. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but sleep is the best medicine. It's not just when you're tired you should sleep. You should sleep whenever you can get to sleep. Okay, when you sleep, most of your body shuts down.
Except the classroom, I guess.
Now, that depends on the teacher now. If the teacher is boring, the subject is bakwas, the student will sleep. Okay, I don't blame the student there. If any student is sleeping in the classroom, the university needs to do something about why the student is sleeping. Okay, but unless the student hadn't slept the whole night and now he's coming and sleeping here, then that's a different story. But coming back to what I was saying, when you sleep, your body rests, it shuts down, most of the organs are shut. How many of you know something called a resting heart rate? It's one of the most important measurements in your body. You know what's the resting heart rate? How many of you are wearing a smartwatch? Does it give the heart rate? There is not a smartwatch. Yeah. Okay. So invest some money. Buy yourselves a smartwatch if you can. Okay. When you sleep and your body shuts down, except a few organs, everything else shuts down. What stays awake? Your heart. If that dies, you're dead. Okay, so that can't shut. Okay. Your digestion system still works because after dinner when you go to sleep, there are a whole lot of food that you eat that needs to be there. That's why do go and do potty first thing in the morning, because the whole digestive system has worked through the night. And when you wake up in the morning, you get this urge of going to the loo, right? You get that urge because something has worked inside you to create that urge. Okay. But rest of your body is literally at rest. Okay. The nervous system is very slightly awake. The brain is very slightly awake. Okay. Everything else just shuts down. Your lungs and your heart are active, but they also reduce their level of activity. So resting heart rate is when you are sleeping. What is your heart rate? That is resting. And the lower the heart rate is when it is resting, the better it is for your whole body and your heart especially. Why? Because if your resting heart rate is high, that means your heart is working harder even when you are sleeping. If it's working harder when you are sleeping, imagine how hard it is working when you are awake. So if you Google resting heart rate, you will understand what I'm trying to say. And you must read this. These are things, they don't teach all this unfortunately in school and college. There's such important things to understand as you grow ahead in life, as you grow older in life. Half the times you won't need to visit a doctor or have medicine, or you won't just fall sick because you would have followed certain rules regarding your body. It's like a car. No? You take your car for service, likha hota na kitab mein 1,000 kilometers first service, 5,000 kilometers second service, 10,000 kilometers. Unfortunately, we don't follow that with our bodies. Okay, our body is also like a car. Also. It also requires attention. It also requires, the right If you don't put good quality petrol in your car, what will happen? The engine will start smoking, something will go wrong. Okay. What is good quality petrol for a body? Good quality food. Okay, the right food. Okay, so it's very important for us to understand that our bodies are the most important thing that we own. You can't replace it. You can replace your car, you can replace your house, you can replace so many things in your life if you don't like it. You can't replace your body. But tomorrow, for example, if you have something wrong in your body, you unfortunately didn't follow the rules earlier, you got stuck with that body. You can't do anything except go to a doctor and now you only have medicine and some scan van all the time you're doing something or the other to keep yourself going. Okay. So resting heart rate, please read on resting heart rate to give you an idea of what I'm telling. The lower the resting heart rate, the better it is for everybody. And the only way you can make your heart rate go down is when you do some cardio activity. Cardio activity means anything to do where you push your heart to a point, to a threshold. It's called the threshold heart rate. Okay? And then as long as you keep it there. So when you're doing long endurance activity, for example, a cycle ride. Now, a lot of times I go and do cycle 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, come back. Okay. Once you hit a certain tempo and a certain threshold on that heart rate, it keeps you there. Okay. For my age, if I look at my VO2 max, what is VO2 max? That's another very important metric in your body. It is how your lungs absorb oxygen and push that oxygen. What is oxygen? It goes through your blood, all over. I mean, इतना biology तो पढ़ा होगा ना स्कूल में, ये इतना भी नहीं पढ़ा. कि जब सांस लेता है आदमी, that oxygen goes into your lungs and from the air that goes into your lungs, it goes into your body. Carbon dioxide is chucked out, oxygen is used by the blood. You will heard all. I'm sure you learned all that. Okay. So your VO2 max score is also another important metric. Okay. How much of your volume of oxygen does your body absorb and help you when you are doing any activity? That's why I said very important to start using the stairs. Simple things. Do use the stairs instead of using the lift. Walk. जैसे कई बार होता है ना, the market is half a kilometer from your home. A lot of times you take your car just to drive and come back. Just walk that half a kilometer.
So does your company have any teams, sports competition?
Come here. Come here. I'll tell you. The reason I bought this T-shirt for one reason only. Then just wear it around. Okay. I was waiting to finish my call. I mean this discussion by showing you this. But now that you asked the question, come. So before he says anything, let me say, out of the 40,000 people in WNS in India, over 10,000 people take part in some sporting activity or the other every year. And we pay for it as a company. Okay. Now show them this tag and read out one by one.
Villains, Mumbai Smashers, Percy, HL11, Akhilesh, Cool Thumpers, Nayans,
White cap.
Whitecaps, Sampis, Cricketing, Phantoms,
Sameeps.
Anand's Terrific Hitters, Parvez, Scoring Billows, Jitender's Supernovas, Sridhar's Ball Burners, Kiran's Night Warriors.
So, IPL तो देखा ही होगा आप लोगों ने. So हमारा भी एक IPL है WNS में. Okay, we call it WNS Cricket League. So these are all the teams that we formed. So similarly, how in an IPL there's an auction, we have a similar auction. Okay. So in our head office in Bombay, you can sit down. In Bombay, we have about 7,000-8,000 employees. So we started this in Bombay, where we got hold of these 8-10 people and we made them team owners. Okay, it's all lottery money. There's no real money involved here. Okay, so we made them team owners. Then we sent a mail out in the whole company and said, whoever wants to play cricket, please apply. So some 300-400 people applied, saying we all want to play. Okay. Then we wanted to understand if they can play or not play. So we held trials. Okay. And based on the trials, we realized some people could play and some people couldn't play. So the people who could play, then we rated them as A, B, C category. Okay. A means the better players, B means the average players, C means the not so good players. Okay. And then the rest we said sorry. So we got about 100+ names like this. Then for A category players, we fixed a price. Okay, we said, okay, for A category players, we will charge, the cost of that player, let's assume is 10,000 points or 10,000 rupees. Okay. Category B player, say 5,000, and category C player, say 3,000. Okay. Now we found 8 people, management, senior people in the company, and we formed teams under them. So these names that he read out were all names. So Sameep is a guy, Akhilesh is a guy, Nayan is a guy. These are all individuals. So each of these guys became team owners. Like how in India you have Shah Rukh Khan running one IPL team, so and so running another IPL team. Same way these were our 8 Shah Rukh Khans. Okay. Then we had all those 100 odd players we had ranked. Then we put up one huge, we got everybody in a room like this. Then we gave each of those owners 2 more people to assist them. Then one time we started saying, okay, then we put Dipayan's photo on the wall and we wrote Dipayan fast bowler, whatever his past cricket is, like he played Ranji Trophy or some cricket match for his college, university, whatever. We wrote all that. Okay, then we said, okay. So you said, okay, I'll buy Dipayan for the base price 10,000. You said 12,000. You said 14,000. Somebody said 20,000, and that's how the auction happened. Okay, and then the whole auction, finally Dipayan got sold for 1 lakh. Okay, now each team owner was given a certain number of points. You can't cross that to make your team. So you have to be balanced. Okay, so if he's gone and spent 1 lakh on one player, now he has only, say, if his total money is 10 lakhs, now he has 9 lakhs to buy the balance 13 players in. Because each team owner had to buy 14 players. So we ran this auction. And what fun we had running this auction is, you can't just imagine the amount of fun we had. People are fighting, shouting, no, I'm buying this fellow, that fellow is being bought by me. It was a crazy thing. It lasted, we were supposed to finish it in 2 hours, it took 6 hours to run the auction. But the amount of fun we had, and we made it, we institutionalized this, we do this every year, we do this the last 4 years. Okay, so that's what we do as a company. We have, we talked about running, okay. Our employees are free to go run any part of the country. We reimburse them their cost of the run. Okay, so today if there's a run, say this Sunday in Gurgaon, and the entry fee is say 1,000 rupees, you go run, you have to pay, go, pay the entry, run the run. When you come back with the fee and the finisher certificate, we have an online portal, you go apply, you'll get 1,000 rupees into your bank. Simple. Okay, tomorrow a bunch of people want to get together and they want to say book a badminton court and hold a badminton tournament, we'll go book the court for them, they can hold the tournament, we'll pay for it, So this is, as a company, this is what we do for our employees, their health, their fitness. And we started this about 10 years back, and I manage it across the company also. It's very passionate for me to keep this going. We call it WNS Sports. So I have this here written here, that's our logo, WNS Sports. That's why I wore this t-shirt today, and that was it. So coming back to heart rate, VO2 max, all of you guys please go through all this, it's very important. Like I said, you are at that age in life where you think you are young, you're fresh, your bodies are, will never go old, will never have a problem. That's not the case. Look at your parents, look at your grandparents. Okay, look at old aunties and uncles in your house, in your neighborhood. They're struggling. You'll find one auntie, that's how she gets up when she gets up from her chair. Every house or every neighborhood you would have seen one auntie like that. Why? She has hip problem, joints, they're giving up. Why? Because she never did nothing for flexibility. Something as simple as yoga. Yoga is one of the best things that one can do. It's unfortunately so underplayed in our country. Okay? But it's one of the best things somebody can do. And it doesn't take long, 15-20 minutes in the morning. That's all you need to stretch. Okay? So, right now you are in that age, in that group where you feel you are invincible. ये सब की जरूरत नहीं आज करोगे तो आगे जाके जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आज नहीं करोगे तो आगे जाके 100% जरूरत पड़ेगी. ठीक है, body designed that way, we have to die like I said. Anything else? Any of questions? What about you? Any question?
So how do you manage your work life and all these things?
My day starts early. So when I'm training for an event, it starts around 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I can wake up at 3:30. Like I have gone and cycled 200 kilometers at a stretch on this highway, national highway, on this highway. Okay, so I will cycle in the morning. My loop normally is a 60-kilometer loop. Manesar U-turn at one side, the toll, and Dalakma on the other side. If you do one round, it's 60 km. So if you do 3 rounds, that's 180 km. If you do 2 rounds, that's 120 km. Okay, so that's my cycling normally. The other day I went and cycled the whole Dwarka Expressway. So if you go to Manesar and then from there you take the Dwarka Expressway and you go all the way to my Palpur airport, you take a U. I went to Dalapur, took a U, came back by the highway, went back to Manesar. That gave me 90 kilometers. Okay, so 2-3 hours on weekends I try to do this. Okay, on weekdays I try to exercise for about an hour and a half every day. Okay, I have reached a stage in life, in my profession, where I don't have to be. I mean, so in our office, I don't have to be like. I'm not timed that if I didn't enter the office at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll half day हो जाएगा. टंगा कट जाएगा. ठीक है ना? I mean, we are very particular in our office, where we have given the freedom to people to operate in some roles like this. Here, if you're in some operation roles, obviously there are shift timings. You have to maintain the shift timing. You can't walk into office or not walk into office at the time you want. Another good thing for me is my job allows me to travel. So when I travel, I can go to different parts of the world and do things also. Okay, my discipline is very strong. Okay, I don't miss anything. Okay, in the morning specifically, if I have a workout planned, I will do that workout. Very rarely will I miss a workout. Okay, like for example, 2-3 days ago, I had to go to Bombay and it was raining in the morning. So I went and cycled. I did a small ride, 30-40 k. I came back, and then my wife was still sleeping. I woke her up and we went for a walk. And I made a walk for an hour and we came back. It was raining. It was so much fun. We walked. So I don't know if you guys know that in Gurgaon there's a very nice band. Have you ever walked it? Chakarpur wala, Wazirabad wala band. Have you? Have you girls walked it? Okay, so it's a great band. DLF का वो मॉल कौन सा मेगा मॉल पता है?
Phase 1.
Phase 1 हाँ ठीक है. So there's a beautiful walkway. So there's an NGO called I Am Gurgaon. Go Google it. I Am Gurgaon. It was started by a lady who was a senior vice president at Citibank. She quit her job and she decided that I have to do something for this city, and she started this group called I Am Gurgaon. Okay, and they do a lot of work for ecology and environment of this city, and they have built some beautiful trails. Biodiversity park सुना आपने?
Yes, sir.
हाँ देखा है ना? किधर है?
The sector 56 के उस side.
नहीं बोला नहीं. सिकंदरपुर करेक्ट उधर.
56 के में है सर.
56 सिकंदरपुर 56
सिकंदरपुर के आगे जाके.
हाँ जो मेहरौली की तरफ रोड जाती है एमजी रोड उसके ऊपर आता है ना अंधेरिया मोड़ से पहले.
Yes, sir.
और वो क्या है वो अजनगढ़ के पहले लेफ्ट में आता है.
लेफ्ट साइड पे पूरा
हाँ correct. So these are all these things that I Am Gurgaon has built and developed. Okay, so this bund is a great bund. It starts from DLF Mega Mall and it comes all the way down behind गोलसूक से पीछे होता है. So ये सब क्या था पहले ना ये सब खेत होते थे. ये तो शहर तो बाद में बने ना when all these buildings and all came up. This is all farmland. So there was this one bund that had been created for flood control basically. Okay. So now what this group has done is they have planted thousands of trees and forested that whole bund. It's a beautiful walk. They've paved it. Okay. So if you go in the morning, you'll find a lot of people. They're running, walking on that bund, like it's lovely. And it cuts across all that your phase 1, phase 2. See the काटता है phase 2 नहीं, phase 1, फिर phase 4 काटता है वो. तेरे घर से पीछे आता है. Hamilton. Hamilton. वो क्या है that Regency. Galleria उस साइड से वो काटता हुआ सीधा ऐसे आता है, and it comes all the way down till beyond Golsuk. It comes down till Wazirabad से उड़ा आगे. It's a lovely walk. So if you guys live that side, please go walk that bund. Okay, otherwise go to Biodiversity. That's also a beautiful place. And then they also recharge one lake. I forget the name of the lake, where now that it's a beautiful water body. And now birds have started to come there and all that, you know, so they're trying to bring back nature, because otherwise the builders ने तो आपने देख ही लिया क्या क्या हुआ है धीरे जहाँ भी बना के छोड़ दिया. So do a look at I Am Gurgaon on your thing. So I find time better that way. It's the only way I can find time. Okay, and I got lucky in our earlier office where we had नीचे gym था building में. That's how I started. I started going to that gym, and that gym got me into the habit of exercising, and that's how I started running, and that's how it happened. Any other question? Hello? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
I wish
Thank
you all,
you for
I wish you all the best.
a small token of